Yes, is. Hello, this is Alias FM, and today I'm your host, Bella, and I'm with
Ivy.
It is episode 5, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about things that we hope to see in K-pop 2021. So, before we start this episode, I just want to have a disclaimer on everything that we're going to talk about. Everything that we're going to talk about is our own opinions, and I think everyone is entitled to their own opinions on any topic. We're not trying to persuade you to believe the same thing we do, because if you do, then and if you don't, then you don't. You can always agree to disagree. But these topics, I just want like a healthy, mature conversation about these topics, and we don't mean to offend anyone while talking about any of these things. So just a disclaimer before we continue talking. So, I think the first thing that comes to mind about 2021 is a better understanding of cultural appropriation.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
I feel like not a lot of people understand what it actually is. So I literally looked up the definition on Google. So I'm going to read the definition. And the definition is, cultural appropriation is the adoption of an element or elements of one culture or identity or by members of another culture or identity. And I feel like it can be controversial when members of a dominant culture, like of a dominant culture, appropriate from disadvantaged minor cultures,
from marginalized groups. Yeah. I definitely hope that in 2021, as we are starting into it, I do hope that, I guess, more K-pop companies are more educated on how to handle situations that revolve around cultures that are not specific to their own culture. I think there's a difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. I don't know. I hope companies are smarter about how they're going to go about things like this. I can't when it's just being swept under the rug. And I feel like last year, companies are starting to handle it a little bit better. And they're starting to understand that it's not that we're straight up canceling the idols immediately when something bad happens. Rather, we want them to be educated and learn about what it is and why it's wrong on what they're doing.
Like, it's not even just idols. It's like people in general. Like, it's just,
yes.
I'm not saying like I just want idols to know what it is. I want everyone to know what it is. So then you're not like saying things that aren't true, you know?
Yeah.
For example, did you want to talk about the Monster X cultural appropriation controversy?
Yeah, there was like a cultural appropriation controversy as well as like a racism controversy. It happened like in 2017, I believe. It was a big issue. I believe it was one of the members, they had used the N-word. And then there was other forms of like cultural appropriation. I didn't look too into it. I feel bad now. I should definitely go read about that. But it was like a big fallout, and it made the international audience very uncomfortable with it, as well as speak up about it and reach out to Starship about it.
Yeah.
And
And there's like other instances too. It wasn't just Monster X. Like, and there's nothing. I feel like when we name these groups, FYI, just like when we're naming these groups, it's not that we don't like them or that like we have anything against them. We're just naming, because like we like Monster X too, but like I think as people we should take responsibility of what we say and what we do. Yeah. And I think it's okay. I think like in order to learn you have to make mistakes, you know. But what were you gonna say?
I was about to say, I think a good example of a company that was able to address this cultural appropriation issue quickly as well as clearly, I think it would be like A lot of people will disagree with me and like whatever, that's your opinion, but I'm just gonna say I think Mamamoo's company, Rainbow Bridge World or whatever they're called, RBW, they handled it very well. Mamamoo was in a blackface controversy. I think it was like 2016 or something like that. It was like a big thing, and everybody was doing the hashtag Mamamoo apologize thing and stuff like that. And rather than the whole like this is pretty cool too. What had happened was that this was like at the peak of cancel culture, and instead of just saying for Mamamoo to be canceled, their fans were asking for Mamamoo to be educated and to understand why what they did was wrong and to understand the impact that doing blackface had, and it honestly helped, I think. And like, we don't openly see that kind of stuff coming from Mamamoo anymore. People will try to make claims and stuff like that, but I think sometimes it is a bit of a stretch. And I think, like, yes, people will make mistakes, but I do think we have to keep people accountable. I'm not saying that we brush it under the rug. But I am saying that when keeping people accountable, we also have to have forgiveness to like do that. I'm not telling you that you should or shouldn't forgive. That's up to you. But like, you know what I mean.
But I think that that's what grace is for. Like, when somebody messes up, when somebody, like, doesn't, it's like to hold it against them is also wrong.
It's like you will never get things right the first time, and that's just a fact, regardless of what you're from background wise,
Yeah. Like, there's so many things I didn't understand as a kid that I did and went along with just because I didn't actually understand what I was doing.
It's like these things are taught to us, and so I think the only way to do better is to learn, So I do think in 2021, for sure, I do want to see people be more socially aware of the people that they're around as well as the audience that they're speaking to. So, yeah.
And like, it's 2021. We're still being quarantined, we're still all in a pandemic, and like everyone's on social media. On social media, it's so easy to just like write a comment.
Yeah, and it's like no, because we're all at home and because we have so much access to technology, you don't really have an excuse to not know at this point. Unless for me, because we're in the States. Hi, if anybody else is listening to us from in the States. I'm not giving us an excuse to not know at this point in the States, especially with our political turmoil that we're in. I'm not giving a free pass to people not from our country, but I know there are some countries that are more cornered off to where they don't have a lot of diversity in their populations. So I would understand why they don't fully understand it at first. But like, I don't think we really have an excuse for where we are currently in our society in the US to like say we don't know anything about this. You have a phone. Google. You hear the media. So.
Yeah. So I think we just need to take responsibility of the access that we have and just, I don't know, try to be better people. I mean, I know we can't be perfect, and it's okay that we're not perfect, and we give each other grace for not being perfect, but yeah, I think it's also why we need to, like, be responsible about the things we say and do and know and, like, how we treat other people.
Just watch us come up with a shirt that says, like, do better. #AliasFM. Do better.
Okay. Well, speaking of better, I really hope that this year idols are being treated better by their company, because I feel like
that was a good transition, girl.
Because I feel like throughout the past years, it was like being treated like crap, and then like slowly we have slowly progressed into being treated a little bit better. But I just hope that like they're treated as human beings and not like objects to be like to make money. But yeah, so like historically speaking, if I were to name off a few, would be like iKON, Hanbin. Like, that situation was, I don't know, I was really upset with how they handled the situation.
Same could go for like Wonho's situation from Monsta X. It was similar in that sense for the way the company had treated the idol. They just abandoned them immediately.
And I understand that Hanbin had wrote that he was leaving the group, right? But like I also felt like obviously we're not like best friends with Hanbin, and so we don't know the whole story. But I
his
personally
best friend.
felt like stupid. No, but I honestly feel like we didn't get the whole story when he said that he was leaving the group. Like, I feel like, obviously, not that we have to get the whole story because it's, you know, their privacy, but, like, obviously, I feel like the company probably just didn't want to deal with more
press things because
drama.
they were also having the Burning Sun scandal around that time,
too. Yeah, that was also going on. So I felt like instead of handling Hanbin's situation, they kind of just threw him under the bus because they had other stuff going on, you know? And I don't know. I had wished and hoped in a perfect world that wouldn't have happened, because I just really wish that iKON had stayed together, 7. But yeah, that also like reminds me of the Team B and Team A of Win. I was so annoyed with the show because like literally, why didn't you just debut all 11? Like
because
that's what
YG's got something against Hanbin, and Hanbin has to continuously be fighting for his group to debut.
Okay, no, see, the thing is, I actually thought that YG had favored Hanbin, and I feel like YG had favored him because I think YG wanted Team B to win. I think somewhere inside that heart of his, he wanted Team. I mean, I'm saying that as a joke, so nobody get offended. But like, I feel like he wanted Team B to win, but because he let like the fans pick, you know, who won. Team A won because they had more fans. And not saying that they weren't good. Obviously, they were good. But then he also, towards the end of the show, then he also teased that he would, like, debut all 11. And I was like, what? Like, why?
That's what he did with Treasure. Like, he had them go against each other. And and then he was like, no, I'm just going to debut you all. I hate it when that happens. It's like,
and it was, like, stupid and annoying. And, I mean, I understand for, like TV show wise, like, they had to keep you on your toes. But, like, in the end, he managed Winner horribly. In the end, he managed iKON horribly. Like, what? I don't know. And sometimes I think and, like, imagine in my perfect world that if Winner and iKON had been one group, that maybe they would have lasted longer.
Yeah.
You know, or like gone further maybe, or, you know, because like I just feel like they were so, if you watch Win, they were already so close, you know, as trainees, and like they already had their musicality, and like maybe meshing that musicality would have made them last longer.
It's just the whole mentality of the way companies treat, I guess, like trainees / idols, where they'll dangle the carrot in front of you, but right when you get close to it, they'll pull it away.
Yeah. Which was annoying. Anyways, I wrote on like our notes, stupid show, just because I was
I see.
like okay, I really am glad that they were able to challenge themselves though, and they came out with the songs that they did, because, you know, obviously Climax slaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do wish that maybe they had lasted longer in the long run, because I don't really see them lasting that much longer anymore. You know?
Especially with like the whole fallout of what happened with like YG after the Burning Sun scandal. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And it makes me super, super, super sad. And then, so next, talking about other stupid things, on how I really wish that for this next coming year that idols are treated better, is EXO from SM, because when a lot of the Chinese members left, and I think SM has a really SM mistreats their people anyways, but like they really mistreat the people that aren't Korean.
Yeah.
I feel like
historically a lot of the foreign members have left.
Yeah. And then the next thing I want to talk about is Himchan from BAP. When that happened, I don't know, I just like really wish that was handled better too.
Yeah.
And
we just want to see companies handle the PR stuff better, I think. Because the way they're handling
if you want, you can hire me.
Yeah, honestly, you can hire me too. I will defend your idols, bro.
Literally hire me. I am a Capricorn. I cannot lie. I will just tell it to you straight, and I would just be like, that's what it is. Deal with it. Anyways.
I think it's like low-key, like a double-edged sword. I understand why, like, companies don't put out official statements anymore sometimes, but at the same time it's kind of like, wow, you need to put out a statement for this.
Sometimes and it's like, sometimes it's because I don't think people like being lied to.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're just straight out honest, like all of this would be less of a mess, you know, to handle.
Yeah. Like if you know how to handle things correctly, then put out the statement. But if not, I don't think they should just necessarily be having their idol stand up for themselves, because there's a lot of situations in which the company just kind of throws the idol under the bus to defend themselves, and it's like, bro, you're their company, they're the reason you make money. Like, you have to be backing them up. You can't just be expecting them to back themselves up at this point. So it's like, yeah.
And especially when they start, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the next one because I don't want to talk about that too much. But the next one is Tiara. They're an older group, but Tiara and the bullying scandal, I thought, which also reminds me, I didn't write this down, but I had read it recently about like
AOA.
Was it AOA? Yeah. And the bullying scandal, like, oh my gosh, like, to be honest,
it could have been avoided.
I don't know. Yeah, but the thing is, so like, okay, this is my opinion. I don't really know how you feel about it either, because I don't think we've ever talked about it. But like, my opinion is that I actually believe Nina.
No, I believe her too. If all the other members are vouching for her, I'm like, bruh. My only issue is the way the company had handled it. I think the company at the beginning, when this bullying had started, they could have prevented it. They could have said something about it, and they could have actually like done something about it. And I think that's definitely negligence on the company's behalf. I feel like companies nowadays are getting a little smarter, because nowadays we're getting a lot of bullying scandals, like so-and-so idol bullied me back when I was in high school, and it's like then the whole idol's career goes down the drain. You know what I mean?
And like,
you gotta look into these kids that you're gonna be putting on stage, because the thing with with producing K-pop idols or producing K-pop groups is
you're making people, like, idols are looked up to.
Yeah.
You know?
They're role models for people, essentially. And another thing about it is that when you look into K-pop idols, you can't just be looking into looks at this point. You got to be looking into personalities, okay? Because those are the two things you cannot. These are the two things you can't train people on anything in K-pop. You can't train someone how to be beautiful, and you can't train someone how to have a good heart. Like, you either have it or you don't. And I think back then companies were just like, as long as you're pretty, you can get on it. You know?
Well, I don't think it's that you have it or you don't. I think it's something that can be progressed. Yeah. But I do think that it
has to be worked on.
But I think initially, like, you can tell when someone's heart is
in the right place. Yeah.
Or you can try to tell. I guess you can never really fully tell. But that's why I also think that, okay, well, obviously JYP's not perfect. Yeah. And he's had his issues of his own, but I actually really like that when JYP casts his people, he looks for personality. And like, he has said that numerous of times when he's a judge, you know? So, I actually really like that he does that. I don't know. I'm sure other people do too, but I'm not sure who. Like, I can't think of any other CEO at the moment. I'm sure there's other ones. But that's just an example, because, And the next one that I'm going to talk about anyways is JYP's scandal with, like, 2 p.m. in J Park. That was a long time ago.
Dude, I feel old just mentioning that.
But I feel like since it was such a long time ago, we can talk about it.
And I think the way it was handled back then wasn't the best either.
Yeah, and I didn't like that JYP just, like, kicked
J Park. You kind of had J Park defend himself, and it's like, you can't just do that. I mean, J Park's doing great now, geez, but like,
but the thing is, though, I do understand why people were offended.
Yeah, I get it too.
Because Yeah, because like obviously Jay Park should have taken responsibility. Jay Park should have been, and I think he did release an apology statement, but then he was kicked out of the group.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. Yeah, and the next thing I want to talk about is the Rose. I love the Rose, but the Rose was not handled correctly. They literally were not paid for like the 2 years, maybe more years, that they were a band promoting, and they just weren't paid at all.
Yeah.
And it was like free money to the company, and they weren't paying.
And they had so many concerts, and none of that was going to them. And...
Exactly. And I was like, the fans are going for them. Like, hello, that's what their money's for. Anyways, but yeah, I was also really glad that they left as a group. Super happy. One of the happy things that which also reminds me, leaving as a group, GOT7.
Dude, I'm just happy they're gonna be free. I just hope that they're still friends outside of it. You know what I mean? Like if they don't end up, I guess, being GOT7 at the end of this year or however their contracts are gonna go, I just hope they could like hang out with each other on the weekends and they still are supporting each other. Like I got so soft. Mark added 1 of 7 on his like Instagram, and I was like sobbing. I was like, oh
yeah, that was cute. And like, oh my gosh, Bam Bam is so savage.
I wish I was as shady as Bam Bam. That is my one wish.
You are. What are you talking about? You are.
But I wish I could do it with like style. I feel like when I'm shady, I'm just catty. I just want to be petty when I'm at it, you know? Yeah. Like I want to be funny when I'm shady.
Bam Bam did it, but he was funny. Yeah.
See, when I'm shady, I'm not funny.
When I'm shady.
Well, I'm not funny when I'm shady. When I'm shady, like you can feel the ice. Like
when I think I'm funny when I'm shady, just because like when I'm shady towards you, I usually will laugh at it. Like I think it's funny. I don't know. I guess you'll have to, because I'm very sarcastic, so I don't know if. But anyways, but yeah, that's another thing I thought of. Like the Rose leaving as a group. I hope GOT7 leaves as a group, but if they don't leave as a group, it's fine. You know, as long as they're all friends. Which also reminds me of how Sistar disbanded.
Yeah,
I
so
really liked the way
and they still hang out even for anniversaries. Yep. I was like, bro, and they support each other. They like each other's Instagram posts. Not that like liking Instagrams mean anything, but like
honestly, no.
Yeah,
I think liking Instagrams do mean do mean something.
I gotta make sure I like all your posts now. Damn.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, you don't have to like all their posts, obviously, because, you know, you have your own life and you're busy and all stuff. But obviously, if you can keep up with the people that are in your life.
You're being present for them and they're being present for you.
Yeah, so when you see someone, like, obviously, if you see that, like, Bora's liking Kyorin's pictures, you know, like, they still care for each other. They still kind of, in a sense, they're still, like, updating each other on what's going on. Like, probably not every day, but, like, they don't hate each other, obviously. So I think that a like means something.
I don't think we could say the next for the same thing for the next topic, or you guess the next person you have under on this.
No. So the next person I have is SNSD Jessica, which makes me want to cry.
Same.
But like that makes me super sad because all the 8 members are still together. I actually watched like a 12-minute video of the scandal because I needed everything explained to
all I know is that their
you know,
parents got involved and they were upset that Jessica was making money from using the SNSD name, but she wasn't using the SNSD name. Her company was hers. It says Jessica Jung, Blanc, and Eclair. It did not say SNSD.
And she never used it, and she never promoted it in an SNSD way. Okay, let me just tell you everything that I know.
Okay, let's go.
So,
deep dive. Fellas, deep dive, guys. This is the research you guys have been wanting. This is going to be me with my special topic.
This is okay, so I'm gonna try to be brief, but then I'll try to give you as much information while being brief. So basically what happened was that Jessica had wanted to get into fashion, and she had been in fashion for a really long time. She had been designing SNSD's clothes, just like obviously not publicly, like she's not like saying, oh my gosh, I made this outfit, you know, like she just had been into fashion for a really long time. And so on the side, she wanted to do something personal, like, you know, like a side, because everyone had their side thing. Yuna had acting, So Young had acting, Taeyoung, you know, like did music, her like solo music on her own, and you know, like everyone had like side things, you know, and Sunny had her own radio station, you know, like everyone had side things, and Jessica had wanted to do fashion, and so Jessica had made or she was in the process and making, her own line, Blanc Eclair, Annie Claire, I think that's what it's called. But I don't know how they started to get upset, or like when they started to get upset specifically. I think actually I do remember. I read it. I read that they got upset because Jessica was missing rehearsals and like all stuff like that. But then that kind of blows my mind, because other members would miss rehearsals too because of their other schedule.
Acting. We didn't even get to see Soo Young at KCON, see, because she was recording for her drama. See,
exactly. And so, that like blows my mind that they're getting mad at Jessica for missing rehearsals because she was doing her side stuff. Like everyone was doing their own thing. Like, why couldn't, like, if SNSD needed a hiatus to do their own thing, why couldn't that just be a thing? Because everyone was doing their own thing anyways. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, anyways, but they got mad at Jessica, and it was like was it 2016? 2015? 2015.
Yeah, I think it was 2014.
That she left the group.
No, it was 2014.
No. It was not 14. It was 15. It was 15. It was not 14. I know that for sure.
Didn't she leave after Mr. Mister though?
No, it wasn't until it was right before they released Catch Me If You Can, because they made a music video.
Oh yeah,
and then they didn't release it. They had to redo it.
Yeah, okay, I remember.
Yeah, and they had to redo it. So it's 2015, I believe. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Anyways, but so basically, yeah. So I feel like SM just held a grudge against Jessica. I personally think so. I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't know everything. But, like, I personally think that SNSD just, like, not SNSD, sorry.
SM
had a grudge.
SMB for Snake Mansion. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on Jessica, just because she was doing her own thing, and maybe she would have been more successful than them, or maybe she wouldn't have needed them later on. I don't know.
I think it's just the fear of, like, once someone starts making money on the side, not needing you, then it's like, when they're done with you, they're probably not going to sign back. And I think that might have been one of SM's fear, because, and actually, I think that was no. Jessica actually left after she had re-signed with SM. That's right. That's another thing that blows my mind, is that Jessica didn't plan on leaving. Obviously, why would she sign the contract again if she didn't plan on leaving? Yeah. Like, she was literally kicked out. She was kicked out. And I think that's another reason why it was so hard for fans, because, like, to know that it wasn't her choice, and to know that she didn't want to leave, like, her, and it's SNSD. Literally anyone who's anyone in K-pop knew SNSD. I just think it's funny how how I didn't watch this 12-minute video with you, but we're so invested into SNSD that, like, I even remembered. I was like, oh yeah, she re-signed with SM during that year. She
re-signed a 3-year contract, and then in August, I think it was August or October, it might have been October, but like later on that year, they kicked her out, and it was just ridiculous. I don't know. And there's like a video that I watched during that time of her leaving the building, and she's like crying, and I was like, I'm so sad. Like, why is this happening?
Bella's Jessica biased, everyone. So
yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm Jessica biased. But the one thing that never really sat right with me, or the one thing that I will have to like just carry to my grave, is never really knowing how the members felt about it.
Yeah.
It's like I'll never really know how the other 8 members felt about it. We just kind of have to be
stuck with like theories and like small like...
Yeah, because the thing is, like, obviously we hope that they weren't the ones that also kicked her out. But, that's also a possibility, like, because obviously we don't know. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, like, everyone speculates that Sunny had fought for Jessica. I'm not actually sure if that's true. Just these are everything else that I'm saying is just like rumors.
Yeah, it's from speculation. I just want to say, I think Sunny had one of the hardest times after, like, when she had finally said OT8. everybody like raged on her, but everybody else had already said OT8 before she did, and I was like, yo.
Yeah. I was like, Sunny probably had the hardest time accepting it. And everyone else, I'm not saying that they moved on quickly. It's just that they didn't really show as much emotion. Yeah. I don't know. But
speculation, guys, speculation.
yeah, like don't get mad at me. I'm just giving my opinion. Because obviously I could be wrong. And that's that's another thing that I was taught growing up is the wisest person in the room is always aware that they could be wrong. Yeah. So, just letting you know that I could be wrong. Speaking of being wrong, is idols and celebrities being canceled.
Yes, the cancel culture needs to leave. Like, I know people say that cancel culture is like, I guess, quote unquote gone. Like, no, go on Stan Twit and everybody's always doing a hashtag blank apologize. Like, apologize for what, sis?
Yeah. No, but it's not even Korea or K-pop. It's in everywhere, general. Honestly, because like, have you seen TikTok in the US? TikTok in the US is ridiculous.
No, I don't. Dude, I'm not on TikTok for those reasons. I'm on TikTok for cooking videos and fashion videos. Other than that, I don't care.
I got off once 2021 started. I got off of TikTok, but TikTok culture is very toxic. I feel like it's ridiculous. Just because like when you do one thing wrong and someone calls you out on it, it's like there's no coming back. Like that's how ridiculous it is. And like I really hope that this year that that's the like bullet point that I have is that we have more empathy for like idols and celebrities and just people in general. Like you don't even have to be a celebrity, but they do something wrong. Like just have more empathy. Like what I was saying earlier is like you can make them take or not make them, but
when a mistake is made, you own up to it is the thing.
Yeah, like you can try to help them take responsibility, but at the end of the day, one, it's their call. It's not yours. You can't control somebody else's actions. You can try to influence it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's their decision. And then two is just like, all we can really do is try to educate other people, and then just remember that they're not perfect.
I think for me,
so like,
because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. For me, it's I think I'm open to the idea of being more empathetic. I do want the world to be more empathetic towards each other, but I do think there is a point to where if someone knows wrong but continues to do wrong, then I think that's a bigger issue in itself.
Well, yeah, so that's why I said like you can always try to influence them to make a better decision, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. And if they decide to do the wrong thing, then it's not like you have to follow them or do what they do or like yeah. And I know it's hard because like obviously idols and celebrities normally have a big fan base, but
and a big presence.
Yeah, I think taking care of yourself is a good way of taking care of, you know, everyone else, if that makes sense. You know, like making sure that you're doing the right thing or that you're not following just because the idol does something, you know, that you're not doing it, you know, that you have your own morals, your own values, your own standards. And like, I mean, I don't know, I know it's hard and it's like it's a big topic, but like I don't know, I guess all you can do is try. It's a big topic. There's like a lot of things that come into play with it, and I know that like being too nice is sometimes something that I do, like being too empathetic when someone does something. But I've said this in like the past podcasts that we've had, is that when I'm really fired up about something because I really believe in it, then it's not that I won't show you any mercy, it's just that I'm just not gonna be as nice. Like I probably wouldn't be able, it would be really hard for me to give you a second chance if I didn't know you were genuine. But yeah. And then so like talking about being like empathetic for idols and celebrities is like Vix's Hwangbin when he was like quote unquote mocking.
People just
other
went
artists.
Wild on that. Stan Twit, you need a call.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think he was mocking the other artists. It's just that like nobody come at me for this, but like sometimes I don't want to listen to BTSD and A.
Yeah. I think another thing was that he was also tipsy too. So like people calm down. Yeah. When you're tipsy, you can't act like you perfect as shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, just because you don't want to listen to like a song for that moment doesn't mean you never want to listen to it, you know? Like, it was just like that right then, you know, he decided to skip the song or like change the song. Like maybe, I think like if he wasn't tipsy, that maybe he could have changed it without saying anything. Mm-hmm. But, you know, obviously since he was tipsy, you know, he said it. But I also think that when you're tipsy, you should kind of be wary about going online or like a live broadcast. But, you know, obviously that's his fault. That's obviously he has to take responsibility for. But I also think that we can't like cancel him for that. Like that's stupid. Anyways, which also reminds me of like BTB Ilhan's weed scandal. Oh my god. Like, okay,
it's a very strict thing earlier. Over there. Yeah,
but I said this before earlier, and I know, like, I understand that it's illegal in Korea, but it's, like, legal everywhere else.
Just everywhere else here in the States. I wouldn't put it past on other countries. I don't know other countries, like, their way of handling.
If I'm being 100% honest, though, it's, like, what teenager?
He's not on a hard drug either, is my thing.
Exactly. I was like, what teenager hasn't tried it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that you should try it. No way am I encouraging it. But like in the US,
generally
like
speaking.
obviously I can't generally speaking, teenagers go drink. Teenagers go, you know, smoke weed. You know, like you can't be that ignorant to not know that they do that, like with no one knowing. Yeah. You know, like I don't know. I'm not saying it's okay. Yeah. I'm just saying like
I think the ignorance that people have towards idols being humans just goes far to like when we start talking about idols who date. Because it's like, they're dating? What? It's like, yeah, I mean, they're human. If you're an attractive person next to another attractive person, you're gonna tell me you ain't gonna kiss? Like, bro, you know? Just
like,
be logical.
I mean, I think it's just normal things. Like, I don't understand why. Like, everyone's gonna go through hard times. Everyone's gonna, like, literally, I think I was my worst version of myself between 2018 to, like, 2020. Like,
yeah. Oh, Queen, I cannot make a statement on the worst version of myself. I don't know if she's in the making or if she's done, so we'll see.
But like, I literally was like the worst version of myself, and if I had been a celebrity within that time frame, oh my gosh, I would have been canceled like every day. like that's what I'm saying. Like you're just a normal human being trying to figure out life, and obviously I do feel like I'm a better person. I do feel like I'm in a better headspace. But like, it's just so frustrating.
See, I feel like for me, I would have been canceled in middle school. Your girl talked mad shit in middle school. But it's because I didn't know, you know what I mean? And like now that I know better and I'm in a better headspace, it's like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
You're like, yeah, we were stupid. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's just a lot.
I do think empathy is needed when it comes to situations like that.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, like what you're saying, dating and breaking up, and, like, so idols that come to mind are, like, Baekhyun and Taehyung.
Yeah.
Because everyone was so rude when they came out. When it's like, oh my gosh, just let her be happy. Let him be happy. Yeah. You know? And then when they broke up, then it was like, oh my gosh, Taehyung, you're horrible, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they're all blaming her for the breakup. And it's like, calm down. Two parties have to agree for a breakup, my dude. Like,
yeah, and if I'm being honest, I feel like they broke up because of you.
I know, because of these fans. So, like, they'd be wild.
Yeah, and I was like, there's also Kai and Crystal. I was also really upset that when Kai and Crystal came out, they were so mean to that couple. But then when Kai and Jennie came out, Yeah, and then when Kai and Jenny came out, they were like, "Oh my gosh, they're so good." I'm like,
and
"Oh
then
my gosh, they're
immediately
like
when
my
they
mom
broke
and
up,
dad."
they're like, "It's Jenny's fault." I'm like, "Oh, what?"
Exactly, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Yes, your sexism
I'm
is not
sorry to,
showing.
like-
That's how I feel every time when people hate on female idols. It's like, but if a male idol did it, would they be getting this shit? Yeah, no, did not think so. And I hate it when people use that excuse and they're like, "Well, it's different." It's not different. You're just sexist. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Misogynistic.
And
right
then there's
there.
and then there's Chen and his wife or his girlfriend. Oh, well, technically it's his wife now,
Yeah,
right?
it was
Yes.
pretty like there was only a few like antis. I think there was only like 6 people who showed up to their protest. It was hilarious. So
Well, okay, yeah, there was a lot of people who supported them, but then like you're always gonna have people who don't support them. But I thought there is some. I heard like there's an article about people who went on like either it was Chen's sister or like his wife's sister for someone's sister, and someone like fans like started attacking them for the relationship that Chen and his wife
see,
had,
this is what I have
ridiculous.
to say. People will say anything they want as long as they're behind a screen, but IRL, no one's going to show up because like they had a protest.
Exactly.
They literally had a protest in front of SM Entertainment where they were burning Chen's albums, and there was only 6 people who went. It was hilarious because they made it seem like it was going to be a big thing, but there was only 6 of them, and it's like, no, this is not your show.
No. See, the thing is, like, that's what I'm talking about. 2021.
Yeah.
We're quarantined. We've been in quarantine since last year. So, like, we're in quarantine. Everyone's on their phone. Everyone's behind a screen. Like, I just need us to be good people behind a screen too.
Yeah.
Like, well, in a perfect world, fingers crossed. Obviously, we don't have that, but like, I'm just like, that's what I'm hoping to see for 2021.
People will read those comments. There's always going to be someone who sees like the dark comments. Like along with that, I remember back when me and Bella, when we were in a dance group, whenever we got hate comments, I was like on fire about it because it's like, no, I worked hard.
Though, I never saw the hate comments.
Yeah, because the thing with me is when I see it, I would immediately hide it because I didn't want you girls to see it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw them, but I do remember you talking about them.
Yeah, it was like kind of like a burden I had to hold on myself, but it's because I didn't want you guys to see it too. You know what I mean? It's like if one person's bummed out, I don't want the rest of the team to be bothered by it. I was hella bothered, but I was like, nope, I don't want anybody else to see this. Delete. Like, I think that also goes to say that, like, not to stroke the ego or whatever, but I think you made it when you got people hating on you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know about that. But okay, so like a good situation that was handled was JYP's Kang Daniel and Jiho when they were dating. I think they recently broke up. Not sure.
Yeah, they recently broke up. But it was handled pretty okay too. It wasn't like anybody was.
I thought that was
wacko. At least on our sphere, our side of the sphere.
Yeah, and then another thing I want to hope to see 2021 for K-pop is just like our idols living a normal life. Not normal, but like a normal enough life, because obviously they're a celebrity. But like they should be able to date, they should be able to get married, they should be able to have a family and still be an idol and still make music. As well as, you know, because obviously
breaks for health. Like I think that's a good one. Yeah,
health breaks. Yeah, because you were talking about like health transparency.
Yeah,
like I just think that should be way more normalized because like that's like how can you really hate someone for having to go to the hospital to like I don't know, to get their health better. Like that's I don't know. And like when they get married and all that stuff, those things are just things that come along. And if you're a fan because you think that you're gonna end up with them one day,
delusional.
That's a really I was like that's a real far stretch. I mean, like obviously I hope that I marry Kim Taehyung, but the reality of me ever actually marrying Kim Taehyung is, I mean, like, I don't know, I just gotta be, like, I can be optimistic about it, but it's not realistic, if that makes sense.
It's like
and like if you are a fan because of that, it's like I don't even know if you're an actual fan.
Yeah, you ain't standing for the right reasons.
Like you should be a fan because of their music, and if they're still making music while they have a family, like you should still be a fan. You know what I mean? You're like you're a fan because of their music. Why else? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, and like the health reasons, and like you had talked about like Twice and Luna.
Yeah. I definitely for 2021, I want to see more transparency on hiatuses, I think, from companies.
Mhm.
A good example would be like when JYP, I know we're going to be talking about a lot of the goods that JYP did. I mean, we'll definitely talk about the bads at some point too, but I want to say that
I mean, the one that we talked, the bad thing was like 2 p.m. situation.
yeah, got 7. Ugh. And then I just want to say that with hiatus transparency, it's so important. I feel like by being transparent with fans and letting them know how the idol is doing when in health, like when it comes to like mental health breaks and stuff like that, I think it's good because then the fans will be like, okay, yeah, and they know it prepares the fans as well as the idol themselves for when they're ready to make that return. Versus like companies such as BBC, I love Luna, but the way they're handling Hustle's hiatus ain't it. We are not demanding updates from Hostel. We're demanding updates from BBC. We're asking if she's okay. We're asking how everything's going. And it's not necessarily us wanting like every single little detail of her life. No, that's not it. Rather, the only updates that we get that she's okay and that she's still hanging out with the other girls and that she's doing fine is through the girls. And that's the saddest thing. It's like this should not be coming from the girls. This should be coming from the company. Because at least from JYP, when Mina went on hiatus for like, I think she went on hiatus for almost a year. What happened was that they kept giving us updates on Mina. Right? They're like, Mina's doing well. Mina's resting. Mina is in Japan with her family right now resting. You know what I mean? Versus like Hostels, just like radio silence. It's like, okay. And then the first time we hear about her throughout the whole year last year was literally through a third-party magazine where they were interviewing her family. Like, what? Like, I don't know. Yeah. But I just feel like transparency is something that's definitely more needed in 2021 if we want to progress further, I think. So, yeah.
Completely agree. I think we're coming to the end of our podcast. I know we definitely went over, but I had a feeling that we were going to go over time just because, like, this was a bigger topic. Yeah. For our ending, if you've been listening, you know that we always list the songs, list a bunch of songs that are on our playlist or like that we hope that, you know, maybe you would enjoy, that you like. So for this week, I thought that maybe listing songs that were released in 2020 and that are well, so like, how am I wording this? Songs that were released in 2020. Yeah. And like it could also be songs, I don't even know, because like we're only on like our first week of 2021. Yeah. But like if any songs in 2021 were released so far, like those technically count. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, okay, so I had like a really tough time because I guess apparently I only listened to stuff from like 2018 and 2019.
She had such a long time. Yeah. A hard time picking the songs.
Like a lot of the songs I liked came at the very end of 2019. Like those songs were fire. Psycho by Red Velvet, come on y'all. But anyways, the songs that I'm going to be recommending that were songs that came out in 2020 that I want to be carrying to 2021. First off is Black Swan by BTS. The second song is 8 by IU featuring Suga. Second song is Cherry Jubilees by Yukika.
Third song.
Yeah, that's the song.
Yeah, you said second.
Oh, third song. Oops. Hey y'all. Okay, and then the fourth and fifth song I'm gonna recommend is by 17, and it's My and Kidult. And it came off their Hangare album, which was their 5th anniversary mini album. Super good. I'm also going to recommend Jogging / like the whole Panorama album / like Flowering and everything Lucy came out with last year. Like Lucy debuted last year and like, man, they hella smashed. Like everything they did, great. Like there was their whole albums, like all their music so far, no skips for me at least. I'm also going to recommend Mayday by Crush featuring Joy of Red Velvet. I don't know, that song just gets me in the mood. Just get ready for the day. I'm also going to recommend Waiting for Rain by Minami. That song's great. I'm also going to recommend Suga's Interlude by Halsey featuring Suga. I'm also going to recommend Smile by Johnny Stimson. It really does make you smile. it's a good remembrance song. I'm also going to add Star by Luna because that song was amazing. I'm going to add Can't Stop Me by Twice. And no, it's not because of a meme. That song literally, it's cultural reset. So adding that one. And then I'm also going to recommend Karma by Dare Haru. It's a really good song. The producer has sadly passed, but I really love the song, and I definitely think you guys should all give it a listen and listen to the beautiful work that they had put out into the world.
Okay, so for my songs, I'm going to try to go quickly. Is Come With the Wind by Yuk Sung-jae, Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, Something's Wrong by Kwon Jina, and then My Dear Love by Suzy, Lovesick Girls by Blackpink, Talking to Myself by Will J, Blue and Gray by BTS, Selfish and Baby by Madison Beer, and Monster by Shawn Mendes and Justin Bieber. Like, I understand that's probably like all the time played song on the radio, but it's actually a really good song. So, but yeah, I think that is all of all the songs for this week on our playlist, and the link will be in the description, like it normally always is. And I think that's all for this week's episode. Thanks for listening. If you listened to all of it, you're a trooper.
Follow us on our Instagram at alias_official. We post a bunch of like random things on our story there. So we also post updates on the podcast. So come over and follow us and come talk to us. We'll love to talk.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening. Love you a lot. Until next time.
Bye.
All right. Bye.